So I so I just read these, do I? Okay. Right, I've been told to read some comments that have been posted about how I've been doing in my job. I wonder if this is a bit of a performance review. Well, let's find out from the great British public. This one says, "Bruh, sometimes my workplace has GB News on and I have to resist the urge to tell my co-workers that I argue online with Tom Harwood on a weekly basis concerning urban planning issues." Okay, yes, well, if you are one of the people I argue with on a weekly basis about planning and about all sorts of fun sort of government restrictions on what can be built and where, brilliant. I do that probably far too much on my personal Twitter account. But I do really care that basically we've prevented anyone from building anything anywhere. It means we have the most expensive nuclear power stations anywhere in the world. It means we're unable to build a railway despite having invented the railway. It means that we have 6 million fewer houses on average per person compared to France. It means we have more than 4 million compared to the average Western European nation fewer houses in this country. I mean, it's kind of crazy that we don't build anything. So I hope you're arguing in vigorous agreement with my very correct opinions. Well, let's move on now. This one says, "Tom is the only one from GB News worth engaging." Wow, okay, that is surprisingly nice of you to say. Thank you, but I do think that some of my other colleagues are very worth engaging with as well. Try it out sometime. I mean, the whole point of this channel is about debate, discussion, going backwards and forwards, and hopefully not always agreeing with everything that you hear. That's the magic of debate. That's the spice of life. Okay, this one says, "Tom Harwood is so easy to hate that it's actually insane. I think he was grown in a lab." Well, that would be sad news for my mother. Sadly, I was not grown in a lab. Perhaps it would have been easier for everyone if I was. But I'm sorry that you disagree with me, or perhaps my presentation style. Maybe you should try debating with me on Twitter sometime, like the earlier person in this list. Maybe then you'd love to hate rather than just find it so easy to hate. Although maybe you'd have a better life if you just didn't try hating. Perhaps learn that easy lesson that it takes far fewer muscles in your face to smile than it does to frown or be angry. Well, this one says, "Tom, you know nothing about this subject. Please shut up." Well, this is referring to resident doctors and pay strikes, I'm told. Okay, do I know nothing about this subject? Well, I know the demands from the British Medical Association. I know that the government doesn't want to accede to those demands. I know that the government did give the junior, or as we should say, resident doctors a huge pay rise of over 20% when they got into office, and 29% actually, if I think off the top of my head, and now they're asking for more. I think that is a serious point of contention, and clearly there is something else that is necessary to know about this entire subject, and that's the state of the country's finances in general. Sometimes you don't need to know every single element of the minutiae of a subject to know the broad scale of the problem. There is no money, we've never been more highly taxed, and there have never been quite so many demands on where the Chancellor should spread that cash. Well, let's move on now. Any graffiti on the train when it arrived? You've gone awfully quiet on the subject recently. I of course went out to clean some graffiti on some of the trains on the Bakerloo line, which is a line that has degraded so precipitously in the course of the last 12 months or so. I mean, it's crazy how many of these tube carriages are just covered in graffiti. I should say that actually on my way into work this very morning, ahead of filming this, the train that I was on was absolutely covered in graffiti. Although recently the head of TfL, Transport for London, was saying that he thought that the people that were cleaning the graffiti were actually spraying on that graffiti to then clean it off. I can categorically say that is not what is happening. I'm very happy to take the head of TfL round some of the trains that he's nominally in charge of to point out all of the graffiti that is there already. I mean, the idea that you'd think that you need anyone else to paint on some extra graffiti to then wipe it off, absolutely bonkers. But let's move on now. The thought of being on the same tube with you is making me shudder, Thomas. Oh, well, that's a bit of a strange reason. Why shudder? Shudder in awe of my majesty? Perhaps not. Well, I'm sorry that you're so nervous about getting on public transport. I can only encourage that you take some medication to stop your shuddering. It sounds like a you problem, not a me problem. Now, please tell me you don't talk like this in normal, everyday conversation. That's the next one. Do I not talk like this in everyday, normal conversation? What is talking like this? Is it about my accent, my cadence? I don't know. I do talk like this. This is not me putting on an accent. I have to have at least a couple of pints before I start putting on an accent. And at that point, I start offending, I'm sure, all sorts of different people. So perhaps best not to do that in front of this camera in this studio right here at GB News. Now this one, this looks like a nicer one. A government with Tom Harwood as Secretary of State for House Building and Regeneration would be a truly beautiful thing. Well, it wouldn't just be a beautiful thing. The country would be more beautiful for it. Although I'm not sure that diving in and being a politician is quite the best course of action for me. I think it's much more fun to try and tell the politicians who are always here today and gone tomorrow to do the right thing. Perhaps you can do more from a standpoint of journalism than you can from a standpoint of being 1 out of 650 in a legislature. I think it's always a important comparison to look at sort of those who have been around in journalism for a long time versus those who've been around in politics. Sometimes those who can sort of influence the conversation from the outside can have a more longevity, a greater longevity in their effect. Maybe I can do more by just talking about pretty buildings than I could as a member of a legislature. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Well, is that the best you've got? I was expecting perhaps a bit more punchiness there. Do get involved in the comment section, gbnews.com/yoursay, to feature in another one of these videos potentially in the future. Let's have a Barney. After all, this channel is all about debate, discussion, disagreement even. So these have been interesting to read. Thanks for sending them in, and I'll catch you in the next one. Well, I've been Tom Harwood. This is GB News Originals, and do remember to click that subscribe button to stay up to date and even to catch future videos of some of the presenters here at GB News being made to read perhaps some of the more challenging comments about how they do their jobs.
At GB News, we believe in the power of free speech. We're not afraid to ask the tough questions, challenge the status quo, and give you a voice. While others silence dissent, we champion the truth. By becoming a GB News member, you're not just supporting free speech, you're defending it. Please consider supporting us today. Together, we'll hold the powerful to account and make sure that your voice is always heard. Simply go to gbnews.com/support and stand with us for what matters most.